buying spree again dominated headlines as the 1974 season approached. From Woodville in South Australia, they secured a high flyer named Malcolm Blight. He'd won the McGarry Medal in 1972, but was destined to reach even greater heights. And at the top of Ron Barassi's shopping list was the little master, 31-year-old Barry Cable, and Cabes couldn't get here quickly enough. Richmond cast its net in Perth and landed the incredible Mal Brown. Explosive, outspoken and an inspirational leader, Brown just couldn't wait to take up where he left off with John Nichols and his Blues. For Big Nick, it was to be his last season. On May 4th, he played his 322nd game, breaking Ted Whitman's league record. He would continue playing for another 9 games before announcing his retirement. He left an impressive record, 31 state matches, premiership honours in 1968, 1970 and 1972. A record 5 club best and fairests, and with Polly Farmer, the title of the greatest ruckman the game has seen. The most shameful spectacle of the decade took place at Windy Hill on May 18, and the repercussions were still being felt in the courts months later. It was a brawl that left a sour taste in everyone's mouths. In a marathon sitting of the VFL Tribunal, Mal Brown was suspended for 1 match for assault. Richmond Stephen Parsons was suspended for 4 matches. Ron Andrews received 6 matches. Essendon physical education instructor Jim Bradley got 6 matches. Essendon runner Laurie Ashley got 6 weeks. And Essendon rover John Casson got off on a striking charge. Such was the fury of the brawl that Richmond's huge ruckman Brian Roberts didn't even think he'd been punched. He thought he'd been kicked in the head by the trooper's horse.
Being pushed out of the track now, police trying to break up this very sordid incident at Windy Hill. Mal Brown holding his hands up to the crowd. If that's a gesture of victory, I don't know whether it's good or bad.
Cut up considerably before the day.
On August the 24th, Fitzroy's wonderful old warrior, Kevin Murray, played his 333rd VFL game. In his long and distinguished career, Murray had been captain for 8 years and was the club's best player a record 9 times. And of course, in 1969, he became the oldest player to win the Brownlow medal. In a season for milestones, it was Doug Wade's turn on August 31 against Hawthorn. A safe chest mark. Perfect accuracy, and Wade had registered his 1,000th goal. Only Collingwood's Gordon Coventry had kicked more. Kevin Bartlett was hot favourite to take the Brownlow, but on the last vote of the night, Keith Gregg bobbed up again to take his 2nd successive medal. The man who wears number 27 for North polled 27 votes both years. It was a year for the veterans, but there were some vintage marks. Barassi's men from Arden Street were the toast of the town in September as they played in the finals for the first time since 1958. Richmond, under Tom Hafey, was still the most powerful team in the competition, and although North was a sentimental favourite with the crowd on grand final day, the Tigers were the team to beat.
Picked up by Wade.
The Tigers had lost Mal Brown on the eve of the finals. He'd been reported for the second time in the season and was suspended for 4 matches. His absence made little difference to Richmond. The Tigers had one of the most complete football sides ever to play and became the first team to win successive flags since Melbourne in 1959-60. Their win crowned a year of nostalgia. We saw John Nichols and Kevin Murray's personal milestones, and then their retirements. Essendon's burly ruckman Don McKenzie retired after 266 games. Carlton's secretary and 1947 Brownlow medalist Bert Deacon died. VFL players banded together and formed their own players' association. Fitzroy coach Graham Donaldson resigned midway through the season, and John Greening made a spectacular comeback to league football against Richmond in June. Hawthorn left Glenferrie Oval and joined Carlton at Princes Park, and Victoria defeated South Australia at the Sydney Cricket Ground. On September the 28th, it was Richmond's day. There would be others for Ron Barassi and his North Melbourne team. This day belonged to Tom Hafey and the Tigers.
Plenty of players there. Who's going to come out with it? Kevin Bartlett. Bartlett puts it over the centre, down towards centre half forward. Rantel of North Melbourne takes a good mark. Rantel plays on immediately. His kick goes to the half forward flank. Arnold Briders comes out to meet it. North are going down, fighting. Hand pass over towards Burns. He's in trouble as Clayton comes through. Clayton is tackled. There is Kevin Morris with Burns. A siren goes. And the final scoreboard in the 74 grand final reads Richmond 18-20-128. North Melbourne 13-9-87.
I felt confident. You always feel confident, don't you? I wouldn't say it was a unbelievable, we can't possibly lose sort of super confidence, but sure we were confident. But we recognised that we had to play at our top, things had to go right, we had to try and make them go right and all those sort of things, but you asked the question, yes, we were confident.
The club was terribly close, and I do believe that did help. And also, let's face it, North Melbourne at that stage were only on the come on, and they were inexperienced final players, so that probably helped us a little bit as well.
If you were going for a 2 in a row again, would you, in the second year, if you could, and do it surreptitiously, organise something that would bring the players together, like
like blast the umpires or something like that.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Well, would you?
I think you'd have to. I think it'd probably be,
We're not going for 2 in a row, by the way.
No, I realise that.